It's the Sam Rayburn Beauty.
Boom. That's a little more like it. Hey, we got one.
Oh, wow!
And we got Le boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5-pounder.
Show them off! Boom! My goodness!
Oh my God! How big is that?
Welcome everyone to the Polaris FLW studios. I'm Travis Moran, joined here today with Red Gold Tomatoes pro Todd Hollowell.
It's good to be here. The 2019 FLW Tour season is here, and it's going to be an exciting season, no doubt.
Absolutely. Stop number 1 is in the books. It was an amazing event, a little different start for this year.
Yeah, we're starting in Texas at Sam Rayburn Reservoir, 114,000 acres under normal pool, but Rayburn is full of big bass. Everything's bigger in Texas, they say, and Rayburn really showed out for the tour event there.
And we had some new rules in effect starting this year, so you had a lot of eyes in the industry watching to see how this unfolded. We had the no co-angler rule, so these anglers don't have to fish with a co-angler in the back. We have POV cameras on every single boat, and then the Marshall program with all the anglers.
And I think all those rules actually played a role in that Rayburn event. The no co-anglers really allowed these pros to find groups of pre-spawn fish and really learn how to manage them, and they're not competing with someone else in their boat trying to catch them. So the guys that did that well over the course of 3 or 4 days made it to the top 30, went to the top 10, and put themselves in position to win this event. In addition to that, the Marshall program, lots of good feedback from that, a great learning experience for the people that have participated.
Now, when we showed up at Sam Rayburn, things were a little bit different than the locals were used to seeing, and it had quite an effect on the fishing this week.
A curveball is the best way to put it. The lake was 9 feet high. It was flooded. There was tons of flooded timber, buckbrush, willow trees, and it really confused a lot of guys. Locals like Todd Castledine, Russell Cecil, Dickie Newberry, favorites in this event, were just a little confused by what was going on, but the fish were really in a late winter pre-spawn pattern. The guys that figured that out were the ones that really had success in this event.
And we had some younger guys really figure out some things on the water. Seeing so many rookies come in and compete immediately is such a great testament to the feeder circuits. You know, obviously the Costa division producing so many big names, but now we move over to some of the tour veterans. You know, moving into day 3, all eyes were on Terry Bolton, who was leading the tournament by quite a big margin, anchored by that 33-pound limit from day 2.
I'm going to try to start and catch a limit and then go from there and just kind of see which way the day takes me and where it takes me. And I'm sure we'll have more boats out today, and, you know, we'll probably get a little more crowded. So, you know, that may affect some places I fish, and you know, that's just part of fishing on the weekends.
The key thing that I'm doing is fishing inside grass lines, but it's a certain kind of setup and composition that, you know, is a little bit different than what some of the other competitors may be doing.
Right now, I feel like I'm running out of fish. I don't seem to be catching as many as a lot of the other guys in the top 30. So I'm gonna probably do a little bit of practicing today and just see if I can find one of those giant schools.
Ready to get it going.
I had one area I kind of kept coming back to, trying to catch a bigger fish. I figured they would be more in still wintertime mode, so I looked inside those hydrilla lines and outside those hydrilla lines where those fish would be maybe spending the winter, they come in to feed. Hey, we got one. Good way to start the morning.
2018 BFL All-American champion, then 4th place at the FLW Cup, and now going out in 2nd place on day 3 is Nick LeBrun. The man is on fire right now.
He's power fishing, doing what he loves to do, being from Louisiana. I think Nick LeBrun has a bright future on the FLW Tour.
This is one of the ones we need right here. Boom. Thank you, Lord.
Brian Thrift, the defending champion from last time the tour stopped at Sam Rayburn back in 2014. Todd, is there any surprise that he's in contention again?
I don't think there's ever a surprise when Thrift makes a top 10. We almost have learned to expect that from him. He's fishing better maybe than anybody in the world. But what's interesting this event for Brian is that he won the 2014 event in the far northern section of Sam Rayburn, and this time with the conditions being very different, he committed to the middle part of the lake where it's much clearer. And you know, we tend to think of Brian as a run and gun, cover a lot of water type of fisherman, but in this event he really committed to a couple of main areas, and he did a lot of his damage dragging a Carolina rig and some Texas rig plastics.
That's a little more like it. That's a little more like it.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by Polaris, Ranger Boats, Evinrude, Costa, Yeti, and by TH Marine.
I found some success on places that I've fished before that, you know, channel swings and things like that, that still held fish. They just had a whole lot more water over their heads.
That might be better. Hey, yeah. Little coal right there.
Jim Tutt, one of the veterans on tour.
Had a great cranking program going into this week, and made it into day 3 by catching 23 pounds on the first day and almost 22 pounds on the second day. Very consistent. He has a lot of different places that he can sample.
How's that, boys?
Everyone's got some strategies that seem to be working out, and they're making those little adjustments. One of those guys that made some great adjustments that's moved him up into the top 10 to actually fish today is Tom Reddington, which earned him the Evinrude Big Mover.
In the house, big fish, big fish. Look at this. Oh, wow!
We knew 2019 was going to be another historic season. We had records being broken, but then going into day 4, we had a first. With windy conditions, safety concerns, the final day was actually postponed.
FLW Tour Tournament Director Bill Taylor, he actually went out on the boat himself on the water to kind of get a read of how rough Sam Rayburn was getting. Too rough. They decided to make the call to postpone day 4 to Monday, and it was totally the right call.
All the pros applauded the decision, and we feel like that's the best decision for everyone.
And what a difference a day makes. The lake totally looked different, was ready to be fished, and the anglers were chomping at the bit to get out on the water.
Well, I pulled in and I caught the first fish because, you know, it's still in the back of my mind that maybe they're gone, maybe they've moved, and I caught the first one. That made me feel better, and then after that, I started getting in every cast, and they started busting, and that made me just calm down. I knew I was going to catch a limit. One just hit at it, and he got it. Come here. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. He wouldn't have got off in 10 weeks. Now you just, you gotta go catch a couple 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pounders.
I wanted to go and secure a decent or big limit early, and that would just settle my mind down and allow me to go and hunt those big ones. That boom. This is one of the ones we need right here, guys. What's good about Championship Monday is you don't have to be conservative. You can sit here and catch everything that's in there. So that's what we're gonna do this morning. Boom. Yes. Le boom. Thank you, Lord.
I don't know what's going to happen today, but I can promise you we're going to have a good time doing it. This is fun.
Lots of tactics being involved, which brings us now to our TH Marine roadmap to victory.
The 3 things that I feel is going to be critical for this thing to go down today. Number 1, capitalizing on the morning bite. Having a morning bite, even on a post-frontal kind of a day with a north wind, is still key. It's key for Bolton right now. Second, patience and persistence. I think that's why we're seeing veterans, and we talk about Nick LeBrun being a rookie, but you could hear the patience in his voice. You could hear he's very seasoned. This isn't new for Nick. I think patience and persistence is huge. And then again, this afternoon, we're expecting a big bite. A late kicker in the afternoon, I think, can be the difference maker. Anything can happen this afternoon on Sam Rayburn.
Chad Warren really showed his adaptability by coming out first thing this morning and throwing a crankbait, something we haven't seen him throw over the first 3 days, but that little adjustment seemed to pay off immediately.
We may be onto something right here with this crankbait, so we're about to find out. There he is. It's the kind of fish we gotta have today. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes. Oh, look at that tank right there, baby. Yeah. That's what we need. It's a Sam Rayburn beauty.
Starting the morning in the 3rd place spot is the last guy you want chasing you when you're chasing your first victory on tour, and that's Brian Thrift. He has played Dream Crusher to so many anglers throughout the seasons.
20 pounds, 15 ounces on day 1, 23 pounds on day 2, and almost 25 pounds on day 3. Thrift keeps getting better as the event goes along, and while he may tell you he's running out of fish, he'll go find more.
I was catching a lot of fish, but they weren't the size I needed. Today I was actually throwing the football worm, and I was winding it in real fast, and one chased it to the boat and missed it. And I'm like, well, maybe these fish are more aggressive because I wasn't getting many bites on the worm, and I picked the crankbait up, first cast, got a 4-pounder, so that's when the light bulb went off. It's like, all right, I've got them now, I figured out what I need to do.
He's the best in the business at getting better throughout a 4-day competition. He's absolutely the last person you want on your heels.
Jim Tutt, one of the veterans on tour, and one of the Texas guys as well, that probably not too many people surprised to see him contending on this body of water.
My knowledge of Rayburn definitely helped me out on this tournament. And I hit about 6 little spots, really, 20-yard stretches, and I just rotated them throughout the day. I would start a different spot every day and then rotate through, and then I would come back and either rotate them backwards or start over again, just depending on how I felt. We got 5. Huge relief, no big ones, but I'll take them.
My big fish spot dried up today, so I knew I had to go find some new fish, and I made a move, and lo and behold, caught a big one on a spinnerbait that just really pumped me up, and that really kind of helped out my momentum today. Woo. pulled up on a spot I hadn't fished in the tournament, and I caught a 4-pounder. Yeah! That always makes you feel good, you know. That's what I told you I was trying to find, was one of them.
I primarily have been throwing black, but you know, I really don't know if color matters a whole lot. I have had a few bites on this white and chartreuse. I just like to try a few different ones to keep them honest.
Nick had a lot of confidence in his main areas, and what you saw him do was make a key bait adjustment. He picked up a big spinner bait that he started slow rolling. It's a bait that he told us that would get big bites. He knew he was going to have to catch a big stringer in order to win on day 4 at Rayburn, and that spinner bait was his confidence bait. He knew he was doing the right things in the right areas, and he just kept doing that.
I got him fired up on the big spinner bait, the big laboom. And that's a big one. You know, I caught a few decent ones, and then I caught like a 5.5 pounder. And so that was a big momentum builder. Thank you, Lord. Big laboom, 5-pounder.
Nick Rayburn started the morning in 2nd place and knew that he was going to have to put together a solid limit today if he was going to catch up with Terry Bolton. It was definitely the magical kind of morning you need to win an FLW Tour event.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, Lowrance, Real Tree Fishing, Power Pole, Mercury, Triton Boats, and by Nitro Boats.
Chad Warren really showed his adaptability this week, and the word that keeps coming up, steady. It's his 2nd year fishing the Tour, and he has had an amazing 4 days, and it really can be summed up in that huge fish he caught today, which has earned him the Mercury moment.
For him to make a move at winning this event, he was going to have an epic stringer, high 20s, maybe pushing 30 pounds.
Man, things are starting to get very, very interesting. Look at that. That's a beautiful fish, man.
And these tournaments really come down to decision making. And Nick Rayburn has had these spots he's caught some great bags out of, but he knows he's got to catch up to Terry Bolton.
I just hadn't caught a fish in a while, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna let this spot rest, and I'm gonna come back with the last 30 or 40 minutes of the day. And the reason I left is I'd saved a few spots on the other side of the lake for today. If I made it to Championship Monday, I'd have some fresh fish to go to. Boom! I got one of those places fired up and ended up culling one. You know, I caught a heavy 3-pounder that helped me. I know I've had an amazing week, and it's been one of the best tournaments of my life. And if I do pull it off by an ounce or two and get the victory, words can't describe what that would mean to me. And man, it would be 366. It would be awesome.
Last time we were here at Rayburn, I won the FLW Tour event in 2014, and you know, we're back here in 2019, and I'm in 3rd, 5 pounds off the lead, so theoretically, I could win back-to-back events on Rayburn, and I think that would be awesome. You know, I feel like I would just, I don't know, I just groove well with this lake, it seems like. I mean, I love coming here because any cast could be a giant fish.
I made a decision right in the last hour and a half to go to Beach Basin. I had 2 spots in there that I'd not been all week, and I pulled in there, didn't even know if I'd catch a bass, but I was struggling. And lo and behold, I catch 3 nice fish, then helped me cull up right there on a DT10.
Or it's a 4-pounder.
And that really kind of saved my day. You know, it'd be big for me to win
For sure.
because I've done this so long and I've been a bridesmaid so many times. And I've got a lot of people pulling for me. And it, you know, I don't think it would justify my career, but I could walk away from the sport with my head held high if I could just put 1 tour win under my belt.
Our top 4 anglers going into the final day really had some big things they had to accomplish to even have a chance. And it really felt like every single one of them had stepped up to that challenge. There was no way of knowing who was really going to win this thing, and there was really only one way to find out, and that was to weigh them in at the scales.
Championship Monday here at FLW Tour Stop number 1. Show 'em off! Boom! My goodness. This is how we want to start the year right here. 4 and 5 right there. We're about to have a champion at Sam Rayburn. 17 pounds, 6 ounces, Terry Bolton, your champion right here. Yeah! Woo!
This is pretty big for me. I was gonna retire this year, and my wife talked me into coming back. It was my turn, and it just worked out.